Hello my friends, my name is Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, subscribe down below for more content like this and check out my other social media accounts by the same handle, Lindsay Elizabeth Yoga on Facebook as well as on Instagram. And give me a like there if you wish. So today's flow is going to be a flexibility flow, especially focusing on the lower body, a little bit into the hips, but of course the hamstrings, the quads, and all of that good stuff. If you know you're feeling pretty tight or you live in a tight body, grab a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, a belt or a tie or a towel, something like that will work. Yoga blocks are also encouraged if you have them. If not, books or old movies. If you have a VHS maybe still lying around, you can grab those and I'll meet you on your mat. Let's actually come to a laying down position just on our backs. Let's bring the feet together, the knees fall open to this side. For Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly pose, you can just take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Let the knees fall open to the side, and if you're tight in the hips, you can always rest some blocks or bolsters or pillows underneath the legs. Let the natural curve of the spine happen here. And as always, let's take a moment to tune into our breath. Especially with one hand on the belly, you should be able to feel the rise and fall of your belly. So inhaling, notice the belly expand and lift. And as you exhale, notice it fall. If you want to work into a slightly deeper breath, maybe start to slowly inhale into the belly, into the ribs, up towards the heart space. And as you exhale, doing that in reverse, letting the heart space, the ribs, and then the belly fall. So like a little wave, breathing into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest, heart space, and exhaling, starting from the heart space, going down into the ribs, and then down into the belly. A few more like that on your own pace. Taking this time maybe to set an intention for your practice. If there's anything kind of calling out to you in your head, honor that. And it can really be as simple as, hey, I want to feel more open today in my tight places, in my legs, and in my hips. That's all it has to be. Let's take a few more breaths here. And your final breath, maybe your deepest one so far. Start to open up the eyes if you had them closed. Let's take the feet to either corner of the mat, either side really of the mat, and then let the knees draw into each other. So we worked into the external rotation of the hips. This is the internal rotation of the hips now. Hands can stay where they are, just one on the belly and one on the heart space. Feeling the difference between the first posture that we did and this one. This one is always a little bit more intense for me since I have fairly open hips and my internal rotation is not as expansive. And then let's start to take the knees side to side here a few times, just keeping the feet really wide away from each other. So knees fall to the left and then to the right. And then let's hold the knees over to the right for a few breaths. Option to take the left arm to the side and then gaze there with you. Your knees probably won't touch the ground, especially that left knee. Just allow it to lift. Try to draw the hips forward to the right corner of the mat. Long tailbone, long spine here. And let's come to the other side. Knees go over to the left. Right arm can extend and the gaze goes there with you. Notice any differences from side to side and know that, this is just kind of a fact. It is what it is. We're all tighter on one side depending on what side dominant we are, how we move in our daily lives, if we overtrain on one side to the other, and even sometimes our anatomy and our hips and in our bones and in the structure of our body, sometimes they are just different from side to side. So we don't need to add extra judgment here. It is what it is. Just take notice. Let's come back up through center. Extend the right leg up towards the sky. Flex the foot and notice how your hamstring and your calf, so the pull back of the leg, starts to engage. Now reaching for whatever you can on the leg, you can keep the hands towards the thigh, or maybe you bring the hands up towards the fleshy, the meaty part of the calf. And you can always extend the opposite leg long here. Try to keep that leg engaged as well. If the foot and the leg are too far away, this is where you have an option for a strap or a towel. And instead of just passively sinking in here, let's start to actually push the calf or whatever part of the leg into your hands, into your strap. And do the reverse action with the hands in the strap. So pull that leg in towards you. Notice if you can get a little bit more intensity there. Let's hold it here. Hold that increase. Active stretch for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let it go. Notice if there's more flexibility now in that leg. I have a little bit, but of course never force it. Know the difference between your edge, between slight discomfort and pain. Reaching on to the outside of the right leg, maybe even the foot with the left hand, we're coming into another twist. Coming on to the left hip, taking the gaze to the right. You can always bend that top knee if this feels better for you. If the leg is straight, you'll feel this into the back of the leg in the IT band region. Whew, quite intense. You can always have a soft bend to the knee as well instead of a full bend, and you should still feel this, especially if you're tight. Your next inhale, let's come back to center. Take that foot down and extend the left leg up towards the sky. Same idea, try to keep it relatively even from side to side, reaching for the back of the leg, maybe the foot, maybe using a towel or a strap. And know that you can always extend the opposite leg forward, engaging that leg at the same time. Flex the toes towards the nose, really drive the heel up towards the sky or the ceiling. And let's work in that active variation, a more dynamic stretch, pushing the calf or the leg into the hands and the hands back into the leg. So using two opposing strengthening movements here. And let's hold it here. Hold, hold, hold. Keep breathing for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then release. Come into a more passive stretch. No tension into the leg or into the hands. So I noticed right away my left side, my second side is not as flexible. I got the right leg pretty close in, but my left is just not feeling it today. Okay, let's reach for the outside of that foot with the right hand and come onto the outside of the right hip as we fall. Well, not really fall, but guide ourselves slowly and carefully into this twist. Left hand can go back to the side, gaze can go to the left as well. And again, you can always bend that knee or add a soft bend even if you're just feeling tight. No pressure to straighten the legs, none at all. This is your practice. Honor where you're at. And let's breathe in, come back through center. Take both feet down about hip distance apart. Let's really press the heels into the ground. You should almost be able to touch the heels with your fingertips. And let's come up into our bridge pose, lifting one vertebrae at a time, squeezing the glutes to lift up the hips high, or really as high as feels comfortable. Try to draw the tummy in at the same time, so we're resisting the urge to intensely arch through the back. You should also feel a little bit of a stretch into the hip flexors as well. Let's hold for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug, wrapping the forearms or the hands around the shins, maybe even lifting up the nose towards the knees. You can find your way up into a tabletop position in whatever way you want, or you can take a few rocks along the spine, going forward and back a few times, crossing at the ankles, and then finding your way into that tabletop position with the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Let's extend, the right leg all the way back, and then drive your weight into that heel. Really press the toes into the mat to feel the stretch in the calf muscle. Hold, hold, hold it here. Whew. You can add some movement forward and back if you want, or just hold that static stillness. Let's lift that leg back up, draw it over behind you to the left and take the gaze to the left foot as well. Side body stretch. On your next breath in, let's lift up the leg, draw the knee in towards the chest, round the spine, push the ground away, and then step the foot through the hands for your low lunge Anjaneyasana. Let's breathe in, reach the arms up towards the sky. Keep drawing the tailbone down, squeeze the inner thighs together. If you're tight in the shoulders, you can always bend the elbows here as well. Let's take the right hand to the right leg, breathe in to come into your side bend. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the top hand, towards the left kind of corner of your space. Maybe sink down a little bit lower into the hips, down and then forward. And then let's take both hands to frame the front foot, send the hips back into your half splits, drawing the right heel in towards the ground and towards your mat, and try to draw the toes towards the nose. Let's undulate through the spine 3 times, breathing into a long spine, exhale, forward fold. Let's do that for 2. Exhale to fold. Last one like that, and let's hold the fold here. And if you want, you can always take the hand side to side. Keep drawing the right hip back into the hip socket. Notice how it feels to change the placement of the hands if that feels okay for you. On your next inhale, let's shift forward back into our low lunge. And then we step that foot back into our tabletop position. Let's do 1 cat and cow to reset for the second side. Breathing in, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, push the ground away, draw the tummy in, and come back into your neutral spine. This time extending the left leg and foot back behind you, and then push your weight into the heel. So reach the heel towards the back of the mat. You can always add that movement, that motion forward and back. I actually think it feels really good right now for me to just hold this statically, so that's what I'm going to do. And then let's breathe in, lift the leg, draw the left foot over to the right side of the mat, take the gaze towards that back foot, side body stretch. Notice if you're hyperextending. I always do this. I catch myself in my videos, really hyperextending into my elbow joints. Try to add a soft bend there. Nice. Let's breathe in, lift that leg back to center, squeeze the glutes to help you do this, and then draw the knee in towards the nose, push the ground away, round through the back, and then step the foot through the hands. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Let's breathe in to reach the arms up overhead. Draw the tailbone down to open up into the hip flexors. So tailbone is reaching the ground, seat is squeezing to help you get there. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears and squeeze the inner thighs together. If you're noticing you're still kind of slightly arching into the back, I always have a tendency to do this. Think about cinching, tucking the lower ribs in. So we are working into a neutral spine here as much as possible. Let's take the left hand to the front leg. Let's exhale to come into our side stretch. Gaze can be wherever, pardon me, is comfortable for the neck. I'm taking my gaze up towards almost that top hand, maybe more in the direction of the right corner of my space here. Let's take both hands to frame that front foot. Let's send the weight back into the hips, flex the left foot, left toes coming up towards your nose. Dig the left heel in as you draw that heel and hip into the hip socket. Let's undulate through that spine, breathing in, long spine, gaze stays down. Exhale to fold and round. Inhale, long spine, neck is an extension of the spine. Exhale to round, one more time. Breathing in, long spine. Exhale to fold. And if you did so on the first side, you can try to just feel this out. If this feels okay to walk the hands side to side, you absolutely can. If you're having trouble reaching the ground, know that you can always have hands on blocks, bringing the ground closer towards you. Let's breathe in, shift forward into your lunge. We'll transition into our downward facing dog by lifting the back leg and sending the left foot up and back into our first downward facing dog at the practice. Let's drive the right heel into the mat, lift the left heel, bend the left knee. Holding for 3, 2, 1, and switching sides, left heel down, right heel lifts, bend the right knee. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Pedal it out, 1 foot at a time. Maybe wiggle the hip side to side. Maybe both heels lift at a time. Find any movement you need. And let's settle in here for a few breaths. When you're ready, let's breathe in. Reach the right leg up towards the sky. Open the hip, bend the knee. Draw the heel to the seat, point the knee up towards the sky. Try to squeeze into the left seat for stability in your standing leg. And then let's draw the right knee in towards the chest. Step the foot through. You need to keep the hips really high for this. And if you find that you're short, just use your hands to help you get there. Let's plant the back foot down, heel to heel alignment or hips distance. And breathe in, reach the arms up for your Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Squeezing the back seat, so really into that left glute for openness into the hip. So notice the way that when you squeeze the glute, you should be able to open up the back hip flexor a little bit more. Sink a little bit lower into the front knee. Interlacing the hands, Kali Mudra, making a little water gun with the hands, maybe adding a back bend, but really lifting from the heart space first, if this feels comfortable for the back. One more little generous bend here, getting really deep into this posture if that feels okay. And then take a step in a few inches. Take the hands Kali Mudra behind the back this time. All fingers interlace except for the thumb and the index. Send the tailbone down, breathe in. Exhale to come halfway down. Torso in line with the ground. You're working in the direction of straight with both legs, but especially into that front knee. Try not to lock it out. So drive the big toe mound into the ground here to help you out here. Maybe just a soft bend into the knee. Let's uninterlace the hands, palms facing in. Breathing in to reach the arms forward, bicep to ears. Exhale, flip the thumbs down to the ground and draw them back behind you, almost like a little swimmer. Breathing in, arms come forward. Exhale, arms come back. Inhale, arms come forward. Exhale, arms come back. Hold it here. One more breath in. And exhale, can you come down, folding over the front leg without the hands coming to the ground. And now let's take the hands down towards that front leg, either the calf, whatever you can reach, maybe down towards the ankles. Keep drawing the right hip back, left hip slightly forward. If you're having trouble balancing, take the feet about hip distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. Let's breathe into a halfway lift, hands slide up the shins or come to the ground. Exhale, plant the left hand to a block or to the front leg and reach the right arm either to the hip, really drawing it back to square off the hips, or bringing it towards the sky. For the full expression, traditionally for this pose, the gaze comes up towards the sky, but really whatever your full expression is completely legitimate, so you never actually have to take your gaze to the sky if that doesn't feel good for you. Let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Both hands come back down to the ground, add a bend to the front knee, big step back with the back foot. Hold this lunge, and then step back through your plank, shift forward, exhale all the way down to the bellies, point the toes back, 3 baby cobras here. Breathing in, reach the tailbone back, open up through the heart. Exhale to lower. Breathing in to lift, elbows draw in towards through the side body, the rib cage. Exhale, lower, final time, breathing in, breathing out, passing up through your tabletop position, sending the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing in, reach the right leg, or pardon me, the left leg up towards the sky, open up the hip, bend the knee. Keep squeezing into the right standing glute for balance and stability and integrity in your foundations. One more breath in here. Exhale, shift yourself forward, draw the knee in towards the chest, really lift the hips to step the foot through or use the help of your hand to do this. Back heel plants down, either heel to heel alignment or hips distance, arms sweep up for your Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Lift the inner foot of the back foot, so the right inner arch is lifting as the outer edge of the right foot is planting down. Squeeze that right glute to help open up the hip. And really, as much as we say you're square in a warrior one, especially if you're heel to heel, there's really no way that you can actually safely square off the hips entirely to the front. So I always like to say to keep them towards the corner of your mat instead. Interlacing the hands as an option into your Kali Mudra. Everything interlaces except for the thumb and the index. Maybe you add a little arch here. Keep squeezing the glutes, keep sending the tailbone down and long. Sinking a little bit lower, one more breath into that front knee. And then straightening out the legs, take a big step in with the back foot, maybe widening off the stance right away here. Same thing, interlace the fingers behind the back, Kali Mudra. And let's come into that fold until your torso is parallel to the mat and to the ground. Keep drawing the left hip back this time, planting into the big toe mound, working that front leg in the direction of straight while not locking out the knee. So important here. Let's uninterlace the fingers, palms keep facing in. Breathing in to reach the arms forward. Exhale to swim them back. Breathing in, reach the arms forward. Exhale, send them back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. One more time. Inhale, keep drawing the left hip back, draw the tummy in. Exhale, back and hold it here. Gaze stays down. Inhale. Exhale, fold, keeping those airplane arms beside you. Feeling the back of the leg. Really stretch. I feel this a ton in my calf as well as my hamstring. And then take the hands towards the front ankle, maybe the calf, whatever you can reach today. Let's breathe in to our halfway lift, arms and hands slide up the leg or stay on the ground. Exhale, this time right hand stays to the inside of the front foot. And then take the opposite hand to the hip as you open up the chest. So you're stacking that top shoulder over the bottom as you draw the left hip back into the hip socket. And if you want to extend the arm up towards the sky, you are welcome to do so. Spread wide through the fingers and maybe the gaze comes up as well. Know that you can always be up on a block. It really, really helps, especially if we're feeling tight into the hip flexors. I just personally, I would demonstrate with it, but I have lost my yoga blocks. I could really benefit from them right now as I'm warming up into my legs and stretching them out. So just because I'm not using them, it doesn't mean I don't need them and they're not useful. Please, please, please listen to your body. Keep holding for 3, 2, 1. Both hands frame the front foot. Big step back with the right foot. Step back with the left. And let's just hold this plank. Hold, hold, hold. Draw the tummy in. Spread the shoulders wide. Inhale. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, just one cobra this time. Maybe you want to lift the fingers off the ground as well, the hands. Exhale to lower, passing up through your tabletop position, downward facing dog. Nice, pedal at the feet. Breathing in, reach the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, draw the knee towards the elbow, and then bring the left, or the foot, pardon me, over to the left side for your pigeon pose. You can stay up here, keeping the chest proud, sitting upright, maybe even a block underneath that front glute. Or you can start to walk the hands in front of you, coming down into your pigeon pose, forward fold. Working on squaring off the hips. Sometimes it helps keeping the back toes tucked to do this. Coming up, drawing the left foot a little bit, right foot a little closer into the left hip. Let's swing the back leg forward, coming into a twist. So left foot to the outside of the right knee. Left hand behind you, let's breathe in. Right arm up towards the sky, and then twist either the elbow across the knee or hug the knee in. So opposite knee, opposite elbow, open up the chest towards the left side of your mat. Maybe the gaze comes behind you, behind the back shoulder. Keep thinking about almost someone like pulling you from a string up towards the sky. Nice long backs. Let's uninterlace our little twist here. Come into your Navasana boat pose. Let's just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crossing at the ankles, passing through your tabletop position, coming into your downward facing dog. Last one of the practice. Find any final movements you need here. Let's breathe in, reach the left leg up towards the sky, and then draw the knee towards the left elbow, send the foot over to the right side. 45-degree angle is useful for most of us here in our hips. You can work towards the 90-degree angle, but most people don't have the flexibility in the hip flexors, and it's not worth compromising your knee joint to get there. Square off the hips towards the front of your mat. Maybe tucking the back toes will help you do this. You can stay upright here, really squeezing into the glute, and I can really feel this. It's very active here as I squeeze into the glute and lift from the heart. Or you can come down into this fold. Now I find when I come down into the fold, you're actually stretching into the glute more than just the hip. When I'm upright, I feel it more into that right hip flexor. When I'm down here, I feel it more into the left kind of glute area. So whatever you need more stretching here, go for that. Coming up, really making sure you have that 45-degree angle in the front foot. Swing the right foot forward and bring it to the outside of the left knee. We'll come into that twist one more time, breathing in to reach the left arm towards the sky. Exhale to twist. Pick a similar variation from one side to the other, really opening up, your chest proudly towards the right side of your mat. Gaze as an option can come behind you. Let's uninterlace from here nice and slow. Take the feet about hip distance, and let's come all the way down to the back. Coming into our happy baby pose, reaching for the inner outer corners of the feet. If you have the flexibility, you can even reach for the big toes, maybe the outside of the feet. Really draw the tailbone and the lower back towards the ground here as you open up from the hips. Maybe just rock side to side, back and forth. If this doesn't feel okay, you can always just draw the toes together or even keep a few inches or even a block's distance between the feet. Take the forearms around the shins and draw the knees towards the armpit and shoulder region, if that feels better for you. Maybe extending one leg at a time. You can always work in the direction of both legs at the same time. And let's find our way into our final resting pose, our Shavasana, taking the feet to either corner of the mat, arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. If you feel okay, comfortable and safe, close off the eyes. Come back to the natural rhythm of the breath, maybe coming back to that intention. If it was about feeling more flexible and working on your flexibility in this short practice, how do you feel after it? Does this feel like something you could practice on a regular basis to improve your flexibility? Be sure to let me know below what other videos you would like to see. If you'd like to see more flexibility flows, I can certainly do that as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste, my friends.